for the right to take on the Knicks in round one of the playoffs. And it wasn't an artistic masterpiece, but it was a heck of an entertaining game. Now let's pick it up with a really bad moment. Late first quarter, you see the Heat have a 2-point lead. We see the bucket on one end, now the long pass. Legs, can we see what happens to Jimmy Butler here?
Very difficult to see that. You got the head fake, obviously get somebody up in the air. It just looks like the body weight of the defender comes right down on the top of his knee.
Yeah.
And when he grabbed it and his reaction initially, and the scream that he let out, I'm thinking there's no way he's finishing this game.
He stayed in, he shot the foul shots, he played all night, but he clearly was hampered by the injury. Meanwhile, Joel Embiid got off to a very slow start, but he's knocking down a big three in the fourth quarter. We're 7 minutes left. It's a 4-point game. Here's Butler. He would score 19. You'll see the pain on his face. Now to the fourth, and back and forth they go. Nicholas Batum was magnificent.
That's an understatement. And by the way, that's one of the best follow-ups I've seen in a long time. Underneath the rim, flips it back over his head.
He had 20 off the bench. 3 minutes to go. Sixers down one, not for long. Embiid with the three. Sixers up by 2. Ensuing Miami possession, Tyler Hero.
He was sensational, honestly. His offense kept them in the game when they needed it in the fourth quarter.
Heat take a 1-point lead. Back the other way we go. Embiid +1. It's a Sixers 2-point lead. A minute to go, we're tied at 96. This one got very entertaining down the stretch, and it's Oubre.
Biggest play of the game, high-low action against the zone. Oubre with the perfectly timed duck-in. Great delivery by Embiid.
And then the defense by Batum with under 30 seconds to go. Look at the great block on Tyler Hero's attempt to tie it. In the end, the Sixers hold on 105-104. A lot of questions about Jimmy Butler. We'll get to that. Embiid had 23 points, 15 rebounds. Again, Batum with the 20 off the bench. Sixers able to pull out a win. Embiid started slow, inefficient, with 12 points in the first 3 quarters. In the fourth, he had 11 points. He played 38 minutes, his most since returning from injury. So now, up next are the Knicks. Here's Nick Nurse.
I think they're for real. I think they're really good. I think they're fast. I think they can shoot. I think they hit the glass. I think they guard you. I think they've earned that seed. They've played really well and beaten a lot of good teams. So we'll have our work to do here in the next couple of days to get ready for them.
They will play Saturday, Monday are the first 2 games of that series in New York. So, Monica McNutt, if you are the Knicks and you were scouting that game last night, what specifically do you come away thinking about Joel Embiid?
He's not whole. He's not whole, and we have the size that can slow him, contend him, and we need to take advantage of opportunities to run in transition in terms of the fast break if you're the Knicks, which is something that when that second unit comes in, Josh Hart, Deuce McBride, they are able to do that. But if you're the Knicks, in my mind, you're feeling confident. Jalen Brunson has had a tremendous season. You have OG Anunoby in this matchup, both the defensive versatility that he brings and the shot-making ability. Isaiah Hartenstein has grown exponentially over the course of this season. I think you're feeling good.
Talk to me about Embiid. What did you see last night, Alan?
On one leg. You could see it. I mean, when he came back from this injury, he was moving really well all the way up until Friday's game. Then Friday's game, remember, he tweaked it left. He did come back, and that was promising. But from Friday to last night, that knee must have swollen up. Something must have happened because he looked completely different. He was practically a statue. They gave one to AI earlier this season. He was a statue himself in this game. Even Nick Nurse was talking through Lisa Salters to him, saying we're going to need him on the defensive end. He's got to have a presence there. He had no presence defensively whatsoever. The Knicks have got to look at this and feel like we've got to play a higher pace. They play the slowest pace in the league. They can't do that because that plays into exactly what Embiid wants to do. He is going to jog, and he is not going to be a factor defensively. This is a series, if you're the Knicks, this is not a can you win it. This is you must win this series. They have to. If he is as what he looks like right now on one leg, you have to win this series.
Well, we see the word statue is on your screen. Legler, earlier this morning, you said you want to build one.
That's right, Nicholas Batum. I'm going to petition the city officials in Philadelphia. Honestly, listen, Nicholas Batum bailed them out last night. He bailed them out. Embiid was great production-wise in the fourth quarter. He got some timely contributions from some other guys. Batum puts them in position to even be in that game. He was the one guy that looked calm, cool, and collected. He wasn't rattled by the environment. He wasn't rattled by the deficit. He made 3 after 3 to cut into the deficit, then to give them the lead, and then defensively made the big play at the end. They're not in position to win this game without Batum. So what does that mean? That means ultimately that now you'd have to go play a game against Chicago. With the way Embiid looks, maybe you win that game. I would assume you do, but then you're playing the Celtics. You're probably getting swept the way Embiid looks. This at least gives them an opportunity to play another team that does have some physical limitations because they're not at full strength in the Knicks. But I agree with you, man. Right now, how could you not think the Knicks are going to win this series the way Embiid looks?
Well, that's the key here, because you have been telling me for the last week and a half or so, and I've been agreeing the Sixers are going to be super dangerous. Wendy said yesterday on this show, they're not a 7 seed. They are that in name only. With Embiid like this, they do look it.
Pre-injury, he was the MVP of the league. Post-injury, he was 90% of that. What I saw last night was 60% of that. So, now, they have another star, so can Maxey make up for that, Monica?
I will say that 60% of Joel Embiid, while it is not MVP Joel Embiid, it is still something you have to contend with. And so for the sake of the matchup in terms of the balance, Jalen Brunson has had to carry so much for the Knicks. He's done a terrific job of it. There is not a ton of wiggle room in terms of them being productive, right? If they don't capitalize on fast break, to Alan Hahn's point, then I do think you give this team a chance to get into a tight ball game, and you saw they weren't afraid of the moment last night. I think, to me, I go a little bit to playoff history in terms of what has typically happened in Philadelphia in terms of missing moments. So I'm curious to see what happens.
I'll tell you what, if last night's game is any indication, a series could look just like that, because the Knicks play the same way the Heat.
Ugly, physical,
play slow. What you saw last night, you might get, that could be 7 games of that. And if you're the Knicks, it can't be that. It really can't. They have to play fast. They have to get out in transition. They've got to turn a lot of turnovers that Philly was very bad with the basketball in the first half, turn those into points, which they're very good at, and make it a quick series.
The other thing that concerned me last night at the start of the game, and this is what I wasn't sure about even Embiid, was it the leg or was something else? That was an incredibly tight team at the start of that game. And I've seen that. I've been in so many playoff games in that building. There's a thickness in the air. The anxiety is almost transferred onto the court from the people sitting there. And you see these performances.
You mean the booze at halftime?
Yeah, they got
loud.
The court.
Way into the 7, a best of 7. We get them some rest. Now they have no time to rest. They turn it around. They play tomorrow night against the Bulls. We'll show you that highlight from last night in a moment. Maybe they can win that game without Jimmy Butler, but then they go up and play Boston. I mean, this feels like a very quick exit for a Heat team that we've seen make some deep runs.
I think Miami's season's over. I do, and I think their opportunity to extend it was exactly what you said. If they could have pulled this game out, and we're tied under a minute to go, so they had a great chance to do it. He stayed out there as the warrior that he is to try to get them over that hump and maybe get a couple of days rest. But this Bulls team is playing great basketball down the stretch. I don't see Miami beating them if Jimmy Butler can't play in the game.
So the Caruso injury is a little something to watch with the Bulls, but I'm inclined to agree with you. Jimmy Butler is just the engine for that team.
And look, that's not a team that's thinking about getting into the first round. Right? It's a team that was in the NBA Finals a year ago. They were in a conference final the year before that. They're about taking care of business, and unfortunately, if Butler is injured, it seems almost impossible to imagine them doing it. I told you it's the Bulls who got there last night, playing at home against the Hawks. This was the 9-10 game. This was the Kobe White game. He was spectacular last night. We'll show you that in a minute, but let's just show you one spectacular dunk. How about the play from DeJounte Murray right here?
2-footed jumper. Nic Batum turned around, and look what you found.
Goodness,
Up in the toy department, 10th floor.
His elevator went to a different floor than Vucevic.
Meanwhile, Kobe White was playing on a different floor as well.
Cycle.
I just thought Kyrie Irving in the moment when I watched this. That's Kyrie Irving, right? Creative, improv, 2 defenders, splits them. What a night for him. What a season for Kobe White.
42 points, a career high for Kobe White last night. And then here he will find his breaking teammate Javonte Green on a nice play. Bulls win it 131-116. So they will play Miami coming up again. More from this. Here's Kobe White again knocking down the 3.
Like, they are balling. I'm telling you.
Really are.
Monica and I saw them 3 times down the stretch because they played the Knicks a lot, so we called all those games. They are playing. Billy Donovan has them playing great, not just offensively. Their defense has taken another step.
Well, maybe they knock out Miami tomorrow night and they move on to play Boston. We will see. This game could be more of the same of what we saw these teams do in the regular season, splitting the season series 2-2. You see they averaged very similar numbers of points. They haven't played since December 16th, which feels like a long time ago. And obviously the Jimmy Butler factor here looms awfully large.
NBA